today is one of the ways we are doing that. So the Regional Youth Employment Coalition has partnered with different organizations and panelists, and we are excited to have you hear about various career options today. So first, I'm going to take you through what the day will look like, and then we'll hear from some great speakers, and then close the day with seeing students who are actually going into these careers. So in the Q&A section, that is how you guys will participate today. We want to hear all of your questions throughout the day, and we will have time to answer them. So for now, we're going to have a drawing this afternoon, and we would like you to enter your first name, last initial, school, and teacher's name. So if you are a student joining us, go ahead and enter that information in the Q&A section. So for today, we will start with a panel with the construction trades, so that students can learn about those careers and different ways they can explore them now. Then we'll have a Zoom break and then come back to announce the prize winners. And then we'll have an advanced manufacturing career trades panel. And then we'll have our signing event at the end. Now, if you guys go to the website where you registered, 9pbs.org/levelup, you will see a list of digital resources where you can access programs to actually help you with training and understanding of these careers as well. So for our construction trades panel, I'm very excited. We have a 2021 ranking graduate. He's graduating this year. We have Don Fleming from McCarthy Building Group. We have Quentin Bellamy from Ameren and Sergio Munoz from the STL Construction Career Center. And for our advanced manufacturing panel this afternoon, we will have Mr. Crosby from Clyde C. Miller. We'll have Griffin Grover from Tech Manufacturing LLC, and we'll have JC Owens from Rankin and Tyler from Clyde C. Miller, who is in Mr. Crosby's class. And this afternoon, we'll also honor students who are going into the careers that we are talking about this morning. So we have Ryan Gross, who actually went through the Boeing pre-employment program. David Gross, who is an instructor and Ryan's father, which is really exciting. We have Mark Majeski, who went through the South County Tech Carpentry program, and then Matt Westhoff, who is an instructor with South County Tech. And we would love for you to share your experience. You can use the hashtag LevelUpYC, which stands for Level Up Youth Conference. And these are our handles for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Make sure you share your experience. We definitely want to hear what you're saying and what you're thinking is great for this event. At the end of the conference, we have a survey. So if you go to our website where you registered and go to the right-hand side, there are different surveys. So if you're a student, there's a survey for you. If you're a parent, there's a survey for you. If you're an educator, there's a survey for you. And if you're a member of the community, there are surveys for you. When you take the survey, you're entering for a chance to win a $25 gift card. Now, we hope everyone can join us today and tomorrow. We have some great speakers lined up tomorrow as well. We'll have Steve Bryant, Adam Lane, the co-founders of Dream Builders for Equity, Mike Woods and Neil Richardson, and we will also have financial literacy sessions. So if you can join us tomorrow, hold off on taking the survey until tomorrow. But if you're only able to join today, go ahead and take that survey after you join today so we can have your feedback and then incorporate your thoughts for next year. All right. All right, so we're going to get started first with our construction trades panel. We have Dawn, Anthony, Sergio, and Quentin. For our first question, can you guys just say your name, the organization you're with, and then how you found this pathway and why the construction trades pathway was right for you? We'll start with Dawn.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Morning. Yes.
So, of course, my name is Dawn Fleming, and I'm a carpenter. I'm an apprentice. I'm 8th term, and I'm about to journey out. I got into the trade. It's been 4 years now. And I chose to get into the trade because I was looking for a way to make more money because I have 2 children. And I came across, I was thinking of going into Rankin, but then I had a friend that said, why would you do that when you can go to an apprenticeship? And I'm like, what is an apprenticeship? So I started Googling and looking it up and trying to figure out what to do because I already had student loans. So I didn't want to incur more debt. So I got into the apprenticeship through the BUD program. And through that, I became a carpenter. And that's how I became a carpenter. And what was it another question that I missed out on? Or I can't remember.
No, that was great. Actually, and hopefully Sergio can speak to the BUD program a little bit later too. I know he is affiliated with it. So that was great. Let's go with Sergio next. Can you talk about your name, organization, and then how you found this pathway?
Yes, absolutely. My name is Sergio Munoz. I'm with the Associated General Contractors of Missouri. I am in the Educational Foundation branch of that organization called the STL Construction Career Center. My career actually spans two different pathways. One is union chemical operating. Also have a degree in social work from this area. And what is really amazing is that the industry is seeking more candidates to enter into the field by virtue of the fact that there are job openings coming, in part because of the baby boom generation aging out and projects virtually lining up to start here in St. Louis. So there's a big need for workers, and the goal here at the center is to educate the community that there are really good paying jobs out there, and that if I come into contact with a candidate to help them steer their career path accurately into this direction and successfully land in one of these skill trades.
That's great. Thank you. So he has the experience and now he's helping other people get into the career. At the end, I'll show you guys the digital resource page, and there's a website for the place where Sergio works and is helping young people if you're interested in talking more with him and getting into the construction trades. Now we'll hear from Quentin. So your name, organization, and then how you found this pathway.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I'm Quentin Bellamy. I'm an engineering and construction supervisor for Ameren. And I chose construction. Well, my path was a little different from the previous two speakers. I graduated from Florida A&M University with a civil engineering degree and a minor in construction management. So after graduating, before graduating, before going to college, I was always fascinated with large buildings, building and constructions, large equipment, and using my hands. So my mom always tells stories about me dismantling her furniture and the kitchen tables and trying to put it back together. Never could. So that kind of branched me into construction, just working with my hands. And as a teenager, I actually worked with my dad a lot with remodeling houses and doing road construction, a small road construction. And that kind of sparked me into being an engineer / construction supervisor. So now I'm working with one of the largest electrical companies, and I am the construction supervisor for contracting crews. So I hope I answered your question. If I missed anything, please let me know.
That was great. And I also love that you shared when you were younger that you would take apart furniture. It's funny because my brother would do the same thing and I would get frustrated with him. And now he is at Rankin and studying electrical. And so young people, like if you do find yourself thinking about how things work, this might be a field for you. So I'm glad you shared that. That was really helpful.
Thank you.
So now we'll hear from Anthony, who is actually graduating from Rankin this year. Anthony, how did you find this pathway?
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Anthony. I go to Rankin Technical College and I study industrial technology. I guess you could say I found this pathway because I've always been curious about what all this is around me. Like when I was little, like Mr. Quentin said, I would always get my hands on stuff and dismantle it because I was always curious as how it was built and everything like that. Um, I guess you could say I found this career pathway when I was in high school. Um, when I was in high school, I really didn't want to go into a career that was more focused around like a desk. Wanted to be more in the field. I wanted to get my hands on stuff, and I wanted to have a job that had me doing things differently, doing different things every day. And I like fixing things. I like to have my hands on stuff and be a troubleshooter. Is that good?
That was great. That was huge. I like how you talk because there are different working environments, and it's important for young people to think about what they want to do every day and how they want their day to look. So I'm glad you said that. Just to clarify, if there are any parents or educators listening, I'm not advocating taking apart things and taking apart furniture. But if you are open to it and you do have things that you are comfortable letting young people take apart, I do think it's great to explore that. Or even, I got a desk this weekend and putting it together was interesting to look at the blueprint and think about how it worked, and my brother helped. So I do think it's great for young people to explore that, but I just want to say I'm not advocating for taking apart furniture, but if it happens, don't be, angry. Your young person might just have a gift for this. So for our next question, I want to know if you guys can share some entry-level careers, training for those careers, and then maybe some ways that young people can grow in the construction trades and how they can train if they want to grow in the construction trades. So maybe share 1 or 2 entry-level careers and how to train, and then maybe 1 or 2 ways that young people can grow in each career pathway. I'm going to start with Sergio this time.
Okay, great. I actually represent 18 different career pathways that are listed in a little booklet that we pass around quite a bit during job fairs and in meeting with individuals. I would break down these trades into maybe 2 different categories. They're all technical to some degree and require some math, some reading, even if it's just for safety information. You need to be able to adhere to what those rules are. But there's some that are more labor intensive, some that are more technical. And for the ones that are somewhat labor intensive, which lists about 8 of them, they want someone to enter into the craft that's ready to learn. They don't necessarily require that you already know the application of paint, plaster, carpentry, those kind of things. They want to train you how to do that their way. So they're looking for a fresh mind who's anxious to learn and apply what they learn on a day-to-day basis. Those that are a little bit more technical may require that you come in with some math to a higher level on your transcripts, like the electricians or let's say maybe the elevator constructors or plumbers and pipe fitters and the like. So those are kind of 2 separate pathways, but they all do require the abilities to learn, to apply what you learn, and to work in a team environment. A lot of these projects and this project work have to require that you work in a group setting. And next question, if that's sufficient.
Yeah, that was great. So you shared the careers, and I like that you shared that people are willing to train young people. It's just a matter of coming with those reading and math skills and teamwork skills. So can you share 1 way that you recommend young people start their training pathway if they want to enter the construction trades?
Well, based on the Department of Labor and Apprenticeship and Training guidelines, what you need to start is to be 18 years of age, to have a high school diploma or equivalent, and if you were not a U.S. citizen, to have permission to work in the U.S. I have worked with DACA students and others. Beyond that, really the requirements are that you have reliable transportation, a cell phone almost plastered to your hip because you're going to be in contact with your employer on a regular basis. And for those that are looking for the more technical skills, I would say, or trades, I would say, talk to someone in the industry to see what their minimum requirements are. And like the technical schools can certainly help with that, be it a Rankin or a North or South County Tech. Those are going to require that you come in with certain things either on your transcripts or on your resume that show that you are headed towards the more technical side of the industry. So I'll break it down into those two categories for right now. But for example, the cement masons who are in my building, as a matter of fact, just signed a new 5-year contract. So you would come in as a first-term apprentice under a 5-year contract where you'll be earning $22 an hour to start. And as of the starting date, your pension plan begins on your very first day on the job. So under these various contracts that are in place, there are a lot of benefits that come in immediately, and the training begins immediately. So this is a earn while you learn process. They go hand in hand for the next 3 to 5 years, depending which apprenticeship track you're in.
Thank you. That was very helpful. And Sergio also works with the BUD program. So if you go to the digital resource page that I'll explain how to use at the end of the day, you'll be able to see the BUD program, and you'll be able to see the STL Construction Career Center where you can talk to Sergio more about these opportunities. So that was great. Quentin, we'll go with you next. Can you share some entry-level careers, some ways to grow, and then what the training looks like for those careers?
Yeah, so in terms of Ameren's entry-level careers, we have a program. It's a pre-apprenticeship program. It's called PALS, which stands for Pre-Apprentice Laborers. It starts off about $24 an hour. You can actually get into this program as a graduate, of a high school graduate. And what this program is an 18-month rotation program where you're rotating between three departments or 3 areas of Ameren, which is overhead lineman, underground lineman, and substation apprentice. And this gives you like a full view of Ameren's systems, Ameren's network, Ameren's construction. And at the end of the 18-month rotation, you're able to select which one of the areas in which you like the most. And then you're able to apply for those positions and put a bid in for those jobs. This is a union, union-oriented program. So you will automatically be put into a union once you bid on a position. And after you finish the program, then there's a job waiting on you. Other than that, we have a bunch of internships in terms of college internships where students take advantage of a 3-month program where they rotate in different areas of the company in order to gain experience while they're in college. So that's the 2 components that we have in terms of entry level. And I'll take any questions if you have them.
That's great. I'm glad you said that about questions. If you have any questions in the audience, please put them in the Q&A section, and we are definitely going to stop soon and answer questions. I love that you said young people will get a rotation so they can see different jobs. The construction trades have so many different facets. So I think it's great that the BUD program and you guys have that at Ameren where you can see all of the different ways that you can work in the trades. So thank you. How would young people find out about those opportunities?
You can actually go to Ameren's website and type in Ameren PALS, which is PAL, Pre-Apprenticeship Labors, and that information will pop up. And then you can also go to, I think it's called the DAP program. DAP, it's inclusive.org. It's on there as well. And you can always reach out to Tanisha, and she can reach out to me, and we can provide that information.
Yes, absolutely. If you go to the What Level Up website, my email is at the bottom. So if you have questions about it, I'll definitely connect you with Quentin. So thank you. And Sergio. Okay. So I'm going to ask the question a little bit differently for Don and Anthony. Don and Anthony, I'm going to have you guys just share a little bit about your experience with the training. So we'll start with Don. Can you talk about what it's been like to be an apprentice and maybe advice you have for young people who are thinking about going into the field that you're in?
Well, first, I'm gonna say I forgot to say I work for McCarthy, but some advice that I have: don't be afraid to not know what you want to do. But one of the things that I found best about being in the BUD program was, like you said, I was able to try out different places and meaning different trades. You always can go somewhere else. You don't have to be stuck exactly where you are. Find exactly where your passion is and look for it. And nothing better than actually going to work and being exactly where you want to be. I don't like going to work and not being there. And all the guys said the main thing. I love hands-on. I love doing things, and I love seeing that at the end of my project, it's exactly, done, and I can see what I have done. I like my finished products. So that's the main thing that makes me go to work, and I'm like, oh, I did that. So that's really fun to me.
That's great. Anthony, what about you? What's the training been like for you? What have you enjoyed about the training?
Yeah, like Don said, with the construction trade, there are a lot of opportunities out there. And, I'm really glad to be a part of this program on PBS to talk about it. When I first started at Rankin, I knew nothing about the industry. They basically taught me from scratch. I didn't know what a house was supposed to look like before its finished product. And they've taught me everything. They've filled in the gaps. They've taught me about electricity, carpentry, HVAC, mechanical systems. If you have a curiosity for something, the opportunity's out there. Just go get it.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, so for our next question, I want to make sure that our audience has a chance to explore the construction trades. I asked a question at another panel I was at about how young people can start exploring the construction trades right now, because I know some programs require you to be 18, you have to get safety training. So I've gotten ideas about volunteering at Habitat for Humanity. I've gotten ideas about just like driving to different construction sites and maybe parking across the street to look at them and get an idea. Do you guys have any ideas for how young people can start to explore them? Are there videos they can watch? Are there hands-on things that they can do? So I'll start with Sergio on this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like within the last 2 to 3 years, we've seen the growth of online websites that do a video introduction as well as some scripted information from the region highlighting different career clusters. So, for example, the Blueprint for Careers application, and we have one that's called Build Your Futures, BYF.org. I know there's others that from your cell phone, from your iPad, and from your computer screen, you can go visit these various web-based sites and see videos on what these different trades actually entail. And again, locally, we have programs like the Career Center here or other workforce development offices where there are individuals who can help bring you up to speed on the industry, where you might be able to apply your talents more specifically, and connect you with having St. Louis Public Library as a program where it connects people with mentors and or career coaches. So put your mind to the research side of things, and you'll see that there's many local resources, myself included, should anyone ask to be introduced to this field.
Perfect. I'm glad you brought up Blueprint for Careers. We are actually, after this panel, going to do a demonstration on how you can go to that. So that's perfect. And I like that you said going to the centers. I think a lot of people wait until right at that moment, but it's good to go ask questions beforehand and get an idea of what you're going to be doing. So thank you. That was perfect. Dawn, can you share what do you think ways are that students can start exploring the construction trades right now? Sorry, you're muted. No worries. I've done it twice today. Okay, try it. Sorry, one more time. It's still showing mute.
Better?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. No, I was saying that the best thing is what Sergio just said is research. Before trying to get into the trade, you might want to do as much research as you can. For one, like some places, they have you on the waiting list for a year, some for a little while or whatever, longer than you might expect. And so you might want to get your name on a list well before you think you're going to actually get in there. So the research will help you a lot on being prepared for where you want to be when that moment comes. And you can be knowledgeable of, say you might need certs or whatnot, you can start getting educated for whatever you needed for that certification. Get that research before you actually take that class or anything. Just get better prepared for whatever that you think you might want to do. And then also with that research, you might learn that might not be what you want to do. So that can probably prepare you for, maybe I want to gear myself for something else. So being prepared is a good thing in so many ways.
Thank you so much. That was great. And I've also talked to people about how those lists are long. So I appreciate that. That's a great idea. On the digital resource page, we also have a list of all the contacts for the unions in the region. So what Dawn just said also made me think about something else someone told me about asking if you can go into one of the classes that the apprentices take, so you can actually get a feel for what the classes look like. So great idea, Dawn, getting your name on that list well in advance so that you have time to prepare and time to research, and then actually like contacting the union so you can go into the classes. Thank you. And Dawn had a great point about learning what you don't want to do as well. I had careers that I just knew I wanted when I was in high school, and then I started to learn a little bit more, and I took a different route. So I'm glad you brought that up too. It's great to learn that early. Anthony, what are some ways that young people can explore the construction trades right now?
You know, like Don said, doing a lot of research. I know in today's age with the pandemic and everything, it's kind of hard to get out there again. But definitely doing a lot of research and watching YouTube videos can be very helpful. I know, like myself, like doing home projects when I was little, it can really kickstart your curiosity in what you want to do and what kind of career you can look for.
That's great. Thank you. And Quentin, do you want to bring us in with the last way you think that young people should start to explore the career pathways right now in the construction trades?
Yes, I guess in terms of Ameren, I spoke about this earlier. We have a program called Diversity Awareness Partnership, and that's DAP, dapinclusive.org. This is a three-part program that's held annually. And what this program does is give you the ability as a high school student, or maybe even, I believe, as a middle school student as well. We bring you onto our campus and we show you around the different energy centers, substations. We even give tours of the power plants. And that's to give you a little bit of in-depth aspect of what Ameren is and explore those different options in terms of career paths in construction or anything else that you would be inclined to pursue. Another avenue is the St. Louis Works, which is the Regional Business Council. They hold a construction program as well, where young people can explore different options and careers in construction. And then there's last one, which is Construction Forum. This is a good program for just going out and researching the different career fields offered in construction. Aside from that, the topics that you hit earlier with volunteering for Habitat for Humanity and approaching construction sites, those are all the things that I did as a kid. Because one thing that I learned is that a construction worker or a carpenter or anybody that's in the construction field, they want to tell you what they know. And if you're a young kid or young person that's willing to be curious and pursue what amuses you or what fascinates you, they're interested to tell you. And any question you ask is not a dumb question, and they will pour it out on you and let you know where you need to go or what you need to do in order to get to where you want to go. Those are the things that I would share in terms of exploring construction.
Thank you. Yes, and STL.works is also on the digital resource that I'll share after this session. I put in the chat, so Diversity Awareness Partnership, Quentin is right, they have really great programs. So I put that name in the chat, and then we had someone from the audience share a website that I put in the chat also, yeahibuiltthat.org. And then Construction Forum, that's also a great one, so thank you for that. We are now going to have Andy Harpering ask questions. We've got a couple from the audience, so Andy, go ahead. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you. This has been a great discussion. My name is Andy Harpering. I work at 9PS, and I have access to this Q&A section, so I will be asking you all questions related to that. We have a comment about taking things apart and putting them together is a great way to learn. So I feel like you guys have talked a lot about working with your hands and how you enjoy it and why. I also think that some of the underlying assumption when some people hear working with hands is that you don't work with your brain, right? So, but we've talked about coursework, we've talked about learning. The comment even said taking apart and putting together helps you learn. So I'd love to hear how you use the coursework, the certifications that you need day to day. We can start with Quentin since he was the last on the last one.
All right, so I guess in terms of construction, aside from using your hands, we use a lot of mathematics. All your coursework in terms of math is very key to construction, because everything is about the inch, the meter, the foot, or it's measured in some type of way. So mathematics is definitely key to construction. Also, we use science, physics. We use chemistry, working with chemicals. We use a lot of coursework that you learn throughout your high school or middle school or college career on a daily basis. And those things are very key to getting a set of plans or blueprint and actually delivering on building that or constructing that in terms of the trade. So I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Quentin. Dawn, would you like to go next?
Yes, we use a lot of math also, of course. Coursework, we go to class as carpenters once a week, every 3 months or so. And we learn a lot of more extensive things than we actually do on the field, but we learn majority of all of everything that we're doing out in the field. So a lot of the time, the guys will say that this is just not a lot of brain work, but at the same time, it's a lot of brain work because you got to think about what you're doing and you got to have a step ahead of whatever you're about to do. And like what was just said, you're dealing with a lot of different variables out there. You're dealing with safety, you're dealing with, like he said, chemicals, you're dealing with all kind of different aspects of construction that you wouldn't think about. And then one of the things that I learned to realize is maybe I should have paid attention a little more in high school. And it all started linking together that a lot of this stuff made sense. So it all started putting itself together.
Thank you, Dawn. Anthony?
Yeah, definitely. Construction trade, I feel like, is very centered around mathematics and calculations. You know, at Rankin, we start our day off in the classroom and really starting our day with what we're going to do that day before we start the hands-on aspect of everything we're going to do. Sorry, I totally lost it. Can you repeat the question again?
Of course, just asking how you use the things that you've learned in class day to day on while you're doing the work.
Yes, ma'am. So we use the things we learn in class by just applying it when we're doing the hands-on aspect in shop. Like everyone said, the mathematics is the hardest part. And for me, when I started at Rankin, that was kind of a scary thing, but you're definitely using a lot of mathematics when you're in the shop.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sergio, would you like to answer this last?
Sure. Like Dawn had mentioned about the carpenter's craft, all 18 schools, quite literally schools in the skilled trades, have their apprenticeship process where they have to apply themselves to graduate from level to level, which also involves a pay increase as an apprenticeship moves up the apprenticeship process. And I can't really speak to how it's used in the field per se, but something to think about is that in many of these apprenticeship programs, you're earning college credits, which with just a handful of additional credits, you could finish your apprenticeship program and obtain an associate's degree. And I think it's safe to say that the learning model just continues because in this industry, there's a lot more technology being brought into the field, whether it has to do with safety or even building modeling and the use of new higher tech equipment, which would be job enriching if you started at the ground level and then moved up to another position as part of your career pathway to enrich your, let's say, midterm career life span to involve being a foreman, a leadman, an estimator, working on the safety side or working in the business side. So it's math and English that starts off at a entry level, high school level, but then it definitely grows and can grow your career should you decide to pursue education in building sciences and the like.
Awesome. Thank you, panelists. I'm going to hand it back over to Tanisha.
That was great. Thank you, guys. I think we underestimate how much math and reading goes into the trade. So I'm glad you guys shared that because it is important for young people to take those subjects seriously and really think about that. Also, for young people, if this is not something you're thinking about now, I've seen a lot of people my age who they didn't think that they wanted to go into the trades at first, and then they discover that it is the right pathway for them. So I would definitely make sure you're taking those math classes seriously and those reading classes. And if this is something you're interested in, I'm excited that this was helpful and that our panelists kind of brought these careers to life for you. So what we're going to do, we have, sorry, I got a couple more Q&A section. So someone asked if the programs are suitable for 30 to 40-year-old females. And is it better to have an understanding of doing these calculations by hand or more equipped with these calculations with a calculator? So I'll let Sergio answer that really quickly. And then we'll go ahead and show the resources.
Sure. The BUD program, by the way, Building Union Diversity program, which is a 5-week program that comes around pretty much back to back. I think the oldest graduate of that program was 52 years old. So we'll take individuals from 18 to, let's say, 52 to start with. But I think what you'll find is that, calculators are there and available now, but you have to know how to operate them and how to do how to work the calculations to come out with the right answer. So I wouldn't worry about that so much, other than the fact that, you're working in a team setting. So you've got your supervisors, your foreman, your leadman, giving you what you need to get the job done. Now, if you move to a higher level position, then yes, it becomes more of an issue. But I think you're fine just coming in with the high school level education in math and English.
Thank you so much. Well, all of you guys did a great job. You guys brought a lot of different perspectives that were really helpful for me to hear. I hope they were as helpful for the audience. I know the audience got a lot out of this, so thank you. We're going to have Caroline now. She's our behind the scenes tech guru. She is going to bring up our digital resource, and then we're going to show some of the websites that we heard our panelists mention. Thank you guys so much for joining us. So if you go to our website, 9pbs.org/level up, and click on the digital resources part at the top, you'll see Blueprint for Careers. Let's go ahead and click on that one. That was one of the ones that Sergio mentioned. And it'll take you to a page where you will see career spotlights, and you can go through and click on each career. For this one, we're going to go ahead and click on construction. And I like this because it gives you a summary. And we can go ahead and scroll down, and each industry spotlight gives you a video of an actual person who's in that career talking about it. You'll learn about ways you can start, apprenticeship, the wages. Now we have a list of all of the different pathways, and there are several construction pathways. So make sure you guys continue to do your research on those. It talks about how you apply to an apprenticeship program, and then the application process. And then this is one of my favorite parts, some of the regional apprenticeship programs that you can do your research on and get involved in. And some companies. And then it actually has links that you can click so that you can go to your different links depending on where you are and what your interests are. Okay, now we'll go back to the digital resource page. Okay, and if you go down, there is stl.works. Another panelist mentioned that one. And that is similar, where it has the different career pathways and information for if you want to get started. There's a link for Habitat for Humanity there. Under high school work-based learning and career exploration programs, Dream Builders for Equity is also there. They'll be speaking tomorrow. Okay, if we scroll down just a little bit more, if you click on Rankin Technical College admissions, they'll have a chat feature where you can talk to them. And you can learn about ways to get into the construction trades. And so we are going to go back to the digital resource just for a second. And that building union diversity apprenticeship program, that's the one that Sergio was talking about. And you can also get support from the United Way if you're interested in joining that. So I had a great time with the panelists. I hope the audience got as much out of it as I did. We are going to take a break right now from 9:45 to 9:55, and then we'll be back to hear about advanced manufacturing and see some young people who are actually going into these careers and celebrate their pathways as well. Thank you, panelists. It was great to have you. We hope that you guys have a great day. Thank you. So we'll see everyone back at 9:55. Go ahead and get a drink of water, stretch, do what you need to do, and we'll see you back after our break. All right, welcome back from your break. I hope everyone got a chance to stretch, get a drink of water. We didn't have any students enter for the prizes, and I think part of that is because we have educators registering groups. So yesterday I heard about teachers streaming it for their students. So we want to make sure that young people are rewarded for coming. We're going to go ahead and pull up the website so you can see where you'll take the survey for the sessions. And then that will be another way that young people can sign up for prizes. And we also want to hear your feedback to make sure we can incorporate it and make any adjustments that we need to for next year, and then keep any things that you guys like this year. So if you go to the Level Up website, you'll scroll down, and then on the right-hand side, you'll see surveys for students, parents, educators, and then partners. So we really want to make sure we hear your feedback. And students, if you enter those, you'll have a chance to win a $25 gift card. Educators, you also will have a chance to win a gift card if you take the survey. So I'm excited for this next session. Advanced manufacturing is the career pathway that I want to learn the most about. I think I've learn more about IT, learn more about healthcare, learn more about the construction trades. And when we hear advanced manufacturing, that's the one that people are like, what is this? Let's hear more about it. So today we have some great panelists who are going to share their experience. First, we are going to go to Blueprint for Careers and hear from somebody who discovered the advanced manufacturing pathway, and then we'll hear from our panelists. So again, Blueprint for Careers is a great website. If you want to learn more about these careers, you'll go to our website, click on Blueprint for Careers, and scroll down to the industry spotlights and advanced manufacturing. And this is the same as the other career pathways. You'll get a quick summary. We'll see a video, which we'll watch in just a second. And you'll learn about entry-level occupations and all of the different salaries. And then this has some of the training programs. So I'm excited because at the end of the day, you'll hear from someone who has actually gone through the Boeing pre-employment training program. And on our panel, we'll have someone joining us soon from Rankin Technical College. So those are some of the ways you can go prepare for this pathway. And now let's hear from someone who's actually in the pathway.
Going on 20 years now that I've been in the trade, and I love it. I love what I do. I make things. That's basically it. I make things with machine tools and things that you use around your home. My machine right here, this is a CNC lathe. It's a 2-axis machine that we turn parts, round type parts. We can bore. It's pretty high-tech stuff. I graduated high school in 1997, and my first job I had was in St. Louis working at a gear manufacturer. And I started working there and got really interested in the trade and decided that summer that I was going to go to Jefferson College and get my degree in machine tools, CNC technology. We didn't really have money for college, whenever I was growing up. I grew up poor, and a government Pell Grant is what allowed me to go to college. They were supporting the technology courses and stuff at Jeffco. So every day I come in, there's a new challenge. So you're always on your toes. If you're thinking about a trade, try machining. I mean, machining, CNC machining, or even working on manual machines. Like I said, it's very, very challenging and rewarding career.
That was great. So we are still waiting on a couple of our panelists to join us, but we're going to go ahead and get started. And so our first question, we're going to want to hear your name, your organization, and then how you found the advanced manufacturing pathway. So we will start with Mr. Crosby, who I am excited to have. He is an instructor at Clyde C. Miller Career Academy in St. Louis Public Schools. So Mr. Crosby, can you go ahead and share how you found this pathway?
Good morning, everyone. Hope you can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I come from the corporate world, first of all, into this arena. I always wanted to teach, and I saw the excellent opportunity through the Project Lead the Way program that was introduced about 15 years ago. And I moved to St. Louis from the South, but I started off as an engineer in the field, in the corporate field, over 20 years. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Industrial Engineering Technology with a concentration in manufacturing, University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. And that HBCU experience did give me a wonderful opportunity to learn and intern with the Kingsbury Manufacturing Center through the Department of Defense. That opened my eyes to what manufacturing all entails. And as I went into my career, I learned a lot. I had the opportunity to work with great companies like Kraft Foods, Nestle USA, Cummins Diesel. I did some construction job, and I did those jobs because I wanted to be well-rounded and come back and teach. And I was blessed enough to come back and teach in the St. Louis area. And I saw this wonderful opportunity with St. Louis Public Schools in manufacturing. And I applied, and they hired me. And so I've been here now 8 years, and the program has been pretty good, pretty successful. And we've been putting students out in various arenas all around the state of Missouri and all around the nation. And I just really, really love what I'm doing. Okay.
Thank you. That was great. Tyler, can you go ahead and share a little bit about yourself and how you found this pathway?
Good morning. Sorry about the camera. I don't really use Zoom, but how I found this pathway, it was my sophomore year. I didn't expect to honestly become what I wanted to become. Right now I'm focused on becoming a mechanical engineer. And I was already in the class, and he just told me next year, just pick me. And I picked him. I didn't expect it to be fun at all. But when I got in there, every part of it was fun, honestly. And now I'm working on becoming a mechanical engineer. You give a lot of money, so why not? And it's fun to do, basically. I think I'm gonna try to be work on planes, maybe. Because that's what you do. You can work on planes, cars, all that, design it. It's fun. It may sound hard, look hard, but all you got to do is just get used to it. And it's real easy, real easy. So if you're thinking about going to this class, just give it a try. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Tyler. That was great. So Mr. Crosby, for participants who are listening who have never heard of advanced manufacturing, can you talk about the day-to-day aspects of the career? What does this actually look like? What are young people doing? What are people who are finding this pathway? What does the day-to-day look like in their job?
The day-to-day, what it looks like in their job is on the job, if you're hands-on, kind of like the video in which you showed, the guys make things, because that's what you do, you make things. Even students come into my class, I tell them, we're going to make stuff, and I'm going to show you how to make it. And we design, and create and make things. And in doing so, the one thing that I ask people to put in mind is do something you like and think of something that you really you like and that you really want to make. And we'll backtrack from there, kind of like I was backward designing, okay? And the day-to-day is basically understanding the process, understanding exactly what you're making. So that could either be in healthcare. I listened to your panel yesterday in healthcare. That can either be in healthcare, dealing with medicine. It can be furniture. It can be foods. It could be whatever you're making is the process, and you follow that algorithm in that process and then making it. And the day-to-day is whichever industry you're in. And Tyler mentioned airplanes. So you would go in and, you would pretty much be making airplanes versus fuselage when you're dealing with composites, or the hard parts where you're dealing with metal parts or whatever. And that in turn deals with machinery. And the machinery part that comes in where a lot of students and a lot of people, I think, sometimes can shy away, but once they use it and see how it works, they begin liking it. And it just basically working either on an assembly line or in a work cell, basically individually, and putting things together, or working with robots and making the machine do the job itself. You're teaching the robot what it does. And that's basically a day-to-day of manufacturing.
That's great. So I'm going to ask the question a little bit differently for Tyler. Tyler, when you first of all, I think it's huge that Mr. Crosby recruited Tyler. I love that. When I first learned about Mr. Crosby, he was working really well with students, and that's one of the reasons I wanted him to be able to talk to the audience. Tyler, can you talk about those first couple of days when you came into Mr. Crosby's class? What kind of tools did you see? What kind of products were you using? What kind of machines were you using? What did it actually look like? Like, what would a student actually be doing when they first started?
So the first thing we did, we was working on this thing called Autodesk. Like you create the parts on a computer, like on a 3D scale, and then like you measure it, and then you print it out, and then sometimes it depends on like what part you at. We used like this saw to like cut the part out, and then it was like this nameplate that we made. Like my initials is TSR. I had put it on the nameplate, and then I guess what right now we're working on this thing. We're working on a pegboard. So it's a square triangle and a circle, the sides and the mallet. We got all that done. Right now we're working on mechanical arms in our Autodesk. And he said he's printed it out. I said we see the parts that he's printed out. So it's a cool process.
Great, thank you. Okay, now I'm going to take it back to Mr. Crosby. Mr. Crosby, can you share some of the entry-level careers that students can get into manufacturing and what the training looks like, and then ways that young people can grow in the pathway? So I know you said you work for corporate, you've worked for a wide range of positions. So how can students start in this pathway, and what does the training look like for those careers? And then how can young people grow in the pathway, and what does the training look like?
Coming into the pathway, we have a rotation for the freshmen, which is 5 weeks. You don't really get too much because that rotation is pretty quick and it's a large group. But the sophomore group is what I really concentrate on and kind of target my students, if you will. I see when I throw the Autodesk at them, I see how much of them, who is pretty much grasping that concept. When I see they can grasp that three-dimensional concept, and it's a little math involved in a way to kind of challenging, but if you're getting that, that kind of tells me that you can get some of the other stuff. And that's kind of a recruiting mechanism that I use, as well as introduce them to various types of engineers and technologies. Then when they come into my pathway, we do more hands-on projects. Tyler didn't have the pleasure of doing it because of the pandemic, of course, of being here in person. But we do more larger projects inside the manufacturing shop where I introduce them to the milling machines, the lathes and things of that nature, where they actually create the parts from an individual part more to a smaller scale, and then to the fabrication assembly function. Going into after high school to college, you can go into Rankin, SWIC, Southwest Illinois College has a great program. Various others go. The companies themselves will train you, just like Boeing have their program out in South St. Louis Community College that ties right with it, or you can go right into the jobs themselves, okay? Jobs like the railroad, for instance, they're looking for so many students right now and so many people coming out of high school because there's so many people that are retiring. And most of these companies are going to teach you a lot of these things as well. They have their own in-house type of training programs where they train various people to do the aspect of the job. But the main thing is the takeaway that I've received from various industries and training is just to get the students to understand the basics of tools, measuring techniques, and just have a desire to do it. And the one takeaway that I want to give students is do something you love doing. I have a young student right now, a young female. I really target females because it's underrepresented. And she said she wanted to make a heart out of metal with lights inside of it and everything. And I'm like, you can do it. And we can do this in class. And she's so excited. So it's those type of targeting that I throw out there. And once they see that they make it and they can do it, that's the lift there. That's the Ms. Hampton said, yes, that was still there. That's the rainbow. Okay. And I like her saying that's it. Okay. And that's the gratification I get when those students light up when they're making things. So if you're listening on here, go out to that Boeing training program if you guys are really unsure with what you're doing. Those guys are out there waiting on you. And it's fun making those planes and food and just everything. And you seeing what you can make and people going and buying your product. That's a great feeling. It is.
Oh man, that was a lot, Mr. Crosby. Thank you. I mean, I heard about the importance of learning measuring skills, but what I really heard Mr. Crosby say is like a student envisioned something they wanted to make and they were actually able to make it. So if you go into this field, one, you can be creative and think about different things you can make. When I went to Mr. Crosby's class to visit, a student actually gave me a Michael Jordan keychain that was printed on a 3D printer. And so somebody had to create that idea and make it. I also love that he talked about young women getting into the field because this was something that I didn't think about when I was growing up. And he does have girls that he has in his program. So thank you, Mr. Crosby. He also mentioned the Boeing program, which is on the digital resource. It's a great opportunity. And you'll hear at the end of the day, a young person who went through that program. And the last nugget he dropped was about Rankin, which I'm excited. We have JC Owens and Griffin from Rankin who are going to talk to us. So first, can you guys talk a little bit about yourselves and how you found the manufacturing career pathway?
My name is Griffin Grover, and I'm a toolmaker at Tech Manufacturing. I found out that manufacturing was the right path for me because growing up, I was always intrigued by making my hands around cars a lot, working on cars. So I knew that I wanted to do something with my hands, and so I was, kind of going to school for engineering, and I figured out I like the whole idea of crunching numbers a lot. So I started looking at Rankin and looked at sorry.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Do you guys have, are there two oh, sorry. Thank you.
How about, can you hear us now?
Yes. Okay, thank you.
We can't hear that. Picking it up on that. Here.
I love technology. Oh, you guys are okay. Oh, okay, sorry. So let's while they're connecting, I'm going to ask Tyler a question. I know technology can definitely be a challenge. Oh, wait.
We're back.
Okay, there we go. Can you,
Okay,
is it okay if you
sorry.
a little bit and just explain, because it was a little, we got a little feedback with the
Yep.
beginning of it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so like I was saying, I knew I always wanted to do things with my hands, and I didn't like the thought of being at a desk, you know, crunching numbers a lot all day. I like to physically see things and do things, so I started looking into Rankin's website and just researching numerous career paths, and machining one really intrigued me, just to take a block of metal and make something out of it. And the next step was going to Rankin's open house, where I met JC, and he toured us around, showed us the machines, and kind of showed us the basics. And I like the aspect of creating something from nothing, better than trying to modify or fix something that already exists. It's more intriguing to me to actually be able to create something. So from there, I was really fascinated with all that, and the next step was I enrolled in Rankin, and the rest is history, pretty much.
That was great, thank you. Mr. Owens, how did you find this pathway? And can you explain a little bit about what you do at Rankin?
Yes, good morning. My name is JC Owens. I am the department head over advanced precision machining at Rankin Technical College, the Wentzville facility, as well as the St. Louis facility. Actually, I stumbled into manufacturing. My high school girlfriend was actually a year younger than I was. So rather than sit out a year of school, I decided to follow some of my peers, and that path actually led me into machining. And after my first year of actually being in machining, I realized that this is what I wanted to do. As Griffin stated earlier, to be able to take a product that no one has a desire for and to actually make something that could be used universally, it intrigued me, and it intrigued me then, and it still intrigues me now.
Thank you, that was great. So I have one more question for you. We already heard from Mr. Crosby on this, so I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys think. So I want to make sure the audience walks away with ideas about entry-level careers and what the training looks like, and then ways to grow in the manufacturing and machining industry. So can you guys talk a little bit about those entry-level careers, maybe one or two, and then how young people can train, and then ways they can grow in the pathway, and then what the training looks like for growth?
Absolutely. Actually, when I started machining, it was somewhat difficult to get into the field, to be introduced to a good company. But at Rankin Technical College, what we've done, we've actually come to the conclusion that a lot of our baby boomers are actually retiring, and there's a skills gap. So what we've elected to do was incorporate an internship within our course, within our program. And what those internships do, they actually allow potential students to actually go in and to work with those baby boomers before they retire. And they actually earn as they learn. And they're actually being mentored by people who have, high-level skills, those people who are knowledgeable in the industry. And it actually makes the transition easy for those students. And the majority of our students, I'll say 99.9% of our students, once upon completion of graduation, they've already secured those entry-level positions. So I think the internships is one avenue to actually transition into an entry-level position where you're actually getting acclimated to a company's the culture, and you're learning basically what you're going to do once you graduate, and the learning curve has definitely been reduced tremendously.
That's huge. 99% is a huge rate. So if you do go to Rankin, it sounds like once you complete the training, you're almost guaranteed some kind of entry-level position, which is amazing. And that mentorship
And
is key. Sorry, go ahead.
Tanisha, I don't mean to interrupt you, but our students, the way that it's structured, our students will participate in a minimum of 4 internships while at Rankin.
Wow.
And it's a paid internship. So the students are, as I said before, they earn to learn.
Wow. No, please interrupt me with information like that. That's great. I love that. Thank you. Griffin, can you go ahead and share ideas for entry-level careers and ways to grow?
Yes, obviously, one of the most popular entry-level careers in manufacturing is just being a setup and operator of a machine, running production parts. And you know, one way you can learn a lot and advance in that position is you just paying attention to why particular things are done the way that they are. You just observe around you. You can watch and see how the machine moves, why it's moving that way, and you watch the feeds and speeds and all the coding and everything. And then another big one is that whenever a problem does occur, really pay attention, and whenever you're trying to dissect the problem and find the root cause, because lots of times the cause of the problem is something new that you haven't learned yet. So you often learn the most after your mistakes. But and then another good habit to get in is also to use your resources. One thing I do around our shop is we have, like JC was saying, a lot of the baby boomers getting ready to retire. I use all of the very experienced guys. Anytime I have any questions, I go to them. They have all the experience, and oftentimes they can teach you a lot of little nooks and crannies and tricks to get your work done better and easier and faster. But yeah, and then I think half the battle nowadays is being present, getting to work and being on time, and just having good work ethic. Take pride in your work and pay attention to detail is a lot of the battle nowadays.
Tanisha, a prime example of entry level, Griffin started at Tech Manufacturing, which is where we are today, as an operator. And his current position there now, he's actually creating tooling and he's doing programming. So as he stated before, hard work, dedication, a desire to want to get better, and a desire to want to improve. The sky's the limit in this industry.
That's great. Thank you. Great. So don't be afraid to make mistakes, learn about the machines. Also, I love that you said to learn from mentors who are working there and the different tricks they can give you. You have an amazing story. Yes, thank you. I am going to ask one more question, and then we're going to have Andy join us to field questions from the audience. So audience, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A section. So my next question, and I'm going to start with Tyler on this, because I love hearing that fresh perspective. Tyler, you're getting me excited about this career field. So my next question is, what are ways that young people can start learning about this right now? So if I am a sophomore in high school and I want to learn about machining and manufacturing, and I can't get to Mr. Crosby's class yet, and I want to start thinking about this now, what is something that I can do? So Tyler, can we start with you?
Yeah, so I guess just look up the information that you want to know. That's what I would have to do. Or just like ask around at people that's like in the field, maybe some teachers, some people that's like in the field, some students about it. That's all I can say.
That's great. Yes, ask people who are in the field. Tyler, if we have young people who wanted to look up videos or learn about the topic, what are 2 things that you think would be great for them to look up?
Well, first, look up measurements, like how to measure stuff, and then how to work 3D printing and Autodesk, like the things that we use. And stuff that you just want to do.
Thank you. Measurements and 3D printing. I love it. Thank you. Mr. Crosby, what should young people do who want to start exploring this career field right now?
I'll piggyback off Tyler as well. Just look up what exactly you want to do. Just, that is the question. You know, a lot of people into fashion right now. Okay, look up the fashion aspect. Who makes one thing now big is shoes. A lot of people don't realize Nike is right here in St. Louis, and they make the soles of the shoes right there in the St. Charles area. And a lot of those machining aspects that they're teaching in ranking carries right over to those in entry-level jobs. So you're learning and you're doing just what you would want to do, and that would be like in a design aspect. So look up who makes things. That's what I challenge people and students to do. Look around your house. Just look at everything around your house, and everything in there is made. I don't care what it is, it's made in some facet of manufacturing. In the advanced manufacturing section, which we have been talking about, in people's eyes is 3D printing, okay, Wikipedia term. More so, advanced manufacturing just uses smart technologies as kind of big, and all of the machining and everything is all around. And just whatever you like to do, whatever you like to make, just start researching. Do almost like a research paper like in class. You know, this is your product or this is your item, and just backwards and start researching, you know, how it's made. They show shows of that now on TV, how it's made, you know, and just look at the material, you know, and as Tyler mentioned, you know, what are some of the specifications, the measurements, and just look at it, you know, and do it at home, you know, make it and see how it come out, because it's procedures that is one main thing of manufacturing. Everything is in a procedure. That's a basic aspect of engineering. Everything follow a procedure. It is. And just do that and get into that rhythm. You know? And that's one thing that I do entail. I know Rankin does a wonderful job of that procedural aspect at their facilities. Each student, all students have to follow certain procedures, okay? And those things help. We do that in class, and that's one thing that is a young person, put that in your mind and just research it and see what you love, and ask questions as well.
Thank you. I had no idea the soles of Nike shoes were being made that close to me. So thank you.
Yes,
Now my mind is running with the fashion industry. And so thank you. Yes. So young people, if there's something you're interested in, think about how it's made. Yesterday, somebody was talking about the PlayStation 5. And so now I'm thinking about how that's made. So yes, now you have my mind going. Thank you. So young people, look up how things are made. Mr. Owens and Griffin, can you guys share one way you think that young people can start exploring this pathway?
Actually, there are various ways. For students that are juniors, or even sophomores, juniors, or seniors, what I would encourage them to do to inquire with their counselors about Project Lead the Way, or STEMS, the STEMS program that are incorporated at their high schools. And, you know, some students, they will not explore that option. But if that's something that you're not willing to explore, we at Rankin Technical College, we actually offer a shadow tech. And twice a month, what we do, we allow potential candidates to come in and to shadow some of our students at school, just to see what the environment's like, to get some hands-on experience before they actually commit to doing something, right? We want to give them as much exposure as possible to what the manufacturing environment entails. And I would also encourage students to, when you're driving down the highway, just take a look at the cars, the buildings, everything that you see. Somebody in manufacturing had something to do with it. You know, things do not magically appear, but it requires someone that has a passion and the necessary skills to be able to make those things actually become a reality for some people. So I would encourage people to just look, and everything that you can see, somebody in some form of manufacturing had something to do with it. And if you are a problem solver, if you are a creative thinker, I want to encourage you to explore those options of manufacturing. And I also want to dispel the myth that it's a dirty, filthy, labor-intensive job. It's not. Today's manufacturing environment consists of critical thinkers, people who are quick to respond, but yet and still who's methodical in their approaches into actually making things.
No, thank you. That was helpful. I actually put the Shadow of Tech name in the chat for participants to see. That Shadow of Tech program is huge. I've had students that I've known who have gone there, and it completely changes what they thought about what the career pathways looked like. So definitely contact Rankin and sign up for a Shadow of Tech day so you can actually go through and see what training is there. It's amazing. So now we are going to have Andy Harpering come on again. We have some questions from the audience. I'm really excited. So get ready, panelists. We've had our audience members submit questions. Take it away, Andy.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for being with us. I've learned so much from you all. Just like Tanisha, advanced manufacturing is something I always like to learn more about. And we have some questions from the audience. What do you wish high school and middle school math teachers would do to introduce and excite students about opportunities associated with manufacturing? And we'll go ahead and start with Mr. Crosby.
I would say more project-based learning and collaboration. That helps because there are various things you can do. As JC mentioned, through the Project Lead the Way, my course is a Project Lead the Way class that incorporates project-based learning on the various things, and just whatever the problem is in math that you're doing, 9 times out of 10, there's something in manufacturing or this type of industry that is somewhere associated with. And we have a lot of different project-based learning activities in these PLTW curriculums that are associated with that collaboration. And that is, we really do need to collaborate more. That is STEAM, if you will, and not just the word itself, but the actual practical part of STEAM is the collaborative part and apply the math and science and with that engineering and technology aspect of it.
Thank you. Tyler, what do you wish a math teacher would have said to you around manufacturing in middle school or high school?
I kind of wish that they would have taught me more about like measurements, honestly. I mean, it's not like I didn't know, but I want to like more like every part of it, so it can be easier for me to like make the parts and cut it out.
Great, thank you. And Mr. Owens and Griffin, if you all wanted to share, we'll start with Griffin. What do you think your math teachers could have done to help make you excited about manufacturing a little earlier?
Kind of like what Tyler said, I wish they kind of would have introduced the measuring aspect with the different measuring tools that are used specifically in manufacturing. And then also just trying to tie in the working class to real life situations. Because whenever that's introduced, you're not solving a problem just to find the solution to the problem. You're solving the problem to find a solution to, you know, a problem you're having in your everyday life.
Thank you. Mr. Owens, what do you think math teachers in middle school and high school could do?
Yeah, honestly, as I reflect back with my math teacher, I think the subject matters, they were covered well. I think the disconnect was we were strongly encouraged to go to a four-year university, which wasn't the mindset of a lot of students. So I think that math teachers and all teachers should just encourage people to be open-minded and just find out what you're good at and whatever it is that you're good at, to explore it. And you know, as Griffin was saying, as I think back on math, you know, it wasn't complicated, but what became a deterrent was it had no practical application when you were solving your problems in high school. But as Griffin was stating, here on the job, it's different, right? It's the difference between maintaining employment and being unemployed if you can't solve those math problems. So what I would tell math teachers to do, continue to teach your students the basics and the subjects that they're weak on. When they come to Rankin, we will teach the students, we will help them to build upon those weaknesses so that those weaknesses can become their strengths.
Great, thank you. And then we have one final question for the panelists, and that is, what was your favorite part of training? And if you are a teacher, what's your favorite thing to teach as far as the training goes? And we'll go ahead and start with Mr. Owens, since we finished last with you.
Honestly, I like teaching all of the subjects for the simple fact I'm actually giving back. Basically, whenever I teach, I'm duplicating myself. And it's always been a desire of mine to leave a positive legacy. So with teaching, the way that I see it is long after I'm gone, I'm still living, you know, through my teaching. So that's why it's important for me to be as effective as possible with my delivery, my presentation to the students, and to make sure that I'm equipping them so that they can be successful, which in turn, they'll be able to pass that knowledge on as well. So I enjoy teaching all subjects as long as the students are receiving that information, retaining it, and it puts them in a position where they can be successful in their future endeavors.
I love that, and I love that framing of teaching too. That's great. Griffin, what's been your favorite part of training and learning?
One of my favorite parts was being able to have a paycheck while, you know, doing my internship here at Tech Manufacturing while going to school. But, you know, as far as being on the job training, I'd say my favorite part was seeing the product of my work, and like whenever you set up a machine and it starts running and it makes a good part, it instills confidence in you, because you know I put that there and put it in the right location, and you know, with my help they made a good profitable part, and yeah, it's a big deal to be able to physically see the product of your work.
That's awesome. I love that you were real. That's real. The intrinsic reward of seeing something that you've made be successful, and kind of the extrinsic reward of seeing that money come in. That's great. I want to go ahead and go to Tyler to hear what he's liked about training.
My favorite part about the training when we made our nameplates, making it on a computer, printing it out on the paper, and cutting it out. Then he gave us the cardboard to cut it out on a machine, and then we decorated it however we want. And honestly, and then apparently other people who want nameplates get paid to do it if they want. Yeah, that's my favorite part.
Awesome. I'm not surprised you've already talked about your nameplate today. I'm so excited that that was a great project for you. Mr. Crosby, how about you? What do you like teaching?
I love teaching the Autodesk Inventor that I was introduced when I became into teaching. From a training perspective, the corporate world gave me a lot of insight to manufacturing and knowing how it actually worked. I had the privilege of being in management my entire career as well as engineering. So pretty much ran the operation. And in managing that entire process, it's just fascinating to see how everything comes together. And it allows me to, as JC said, give back, if you will, and tell these students, because a lot of people have never stepped foot in a manufacturing facility, so they don't really know how it works and what it looks like. Once they see it, it blows their minds. And that's one thing I constantly harp on and share, and really go on a lot of field trips and ask for a lot of field trips, continue to go on a lot of field trips. But in terms of teaching, that Autodesk Inventor is a great tool to use. A lot of students are into art and artistic, and that spatial intelligence really come out to you with that 3D aspect. And you can see that in the student. You can actually see the students' light go off in class when they got it. And they'll tell you, hey, I got it. I got it, Mr. Crosby. Go ahead. I got it. And I love it. I do. I go get another cup of coffee and sit back and smile. So that's what
I love it. The heart of a teacher. Love hearing from you all. So thank you so much for sharing your experiences and sharing what you love. And I'm going to hand it back over to Tanisha. Thank you.
This was great. My eyes have definitely been opened to a lot. This was the pathway that I knew the least amount about, and now I'm ready to start researching it for myself. Mr. Crosby and Mr. Owens, I can feel your genuine dedication for young people through the screen. So I appreciate you for joining us and appreciate you guys for being in this field and helping young people. Tyler and Griffin, it was great to hear your experience. Thank you so much. I know that was valuable for everyone listening. I am really excited about our next portion of this event. We are going to hear from young people who are going into these pathways right after graduation this year. So first, we are going to see a video with Ryan Gross, who did the Boeing pre-employment program, and he has his dad in it, David Gross, who is an instructor and also just a really good supporter of Ryan, we can tell. So first, we're going to have a video from them, and then we're going to hear a little bit more about the program, and then we're going to watch another video with Mark Majeski, who is also going into the field.
Hi, I am Ryan Gross, and I enrolled in the Boeing pre-employment program to hopefully become a sheet metal worker and assembly worker of Boeing aircraft. Well, I love the game of golf. Whenever I'm not in class, I'm at the golf course. In the Boeing pre-employment program, we have been drilling holes and countersinking and installing rivets on different types of sheet metal to Boeing standards.
I'm Ryan's father, but also apparently his mentor. Being a high school teacher, I talk to my kids all the time. There is not a one size fits all. There really isn't. And as expensive as college is, you better have a pretty good idea of what you're going to try and do along the way.
One of our assistant principals, Dr. Fitzgerald, shared information about the program to Pattonville high school seniors. And my parents encouraged me to apply after we learned the employment opportunities and benefits at Boeing.
And they listed a lot of the benefits and the opportunities that, hey, you can get a job right out of high school, making real money, and Boeing will pay for your college. My wife works at Boeing, and that's one of the things that knowing that Boeing will pay you to further your education as long as it benefits them. Right. Check this thing out. It might be a fit.
The first thing we learned in the class was precision measuring for fastener layout to tolerance as small as a hundredth of an inch. And then we learned the cutting operations of drilling and countersinking to tolerances of thousandths of an inch.
I'll be very, very honest. He's taking college classes here at Pattonville. And then he goes and does the college program at Flow Valley. We've asked him for years, the typical, hey, how was your day at school? He talks about high school. No, not a word. Every night he comes home and is a chatterbox about all of the things that he's learning, all of the opportunities, and the precision. They let him take home a couple of their projects, he showed his grandparents the level of precision. And I think he's been lucky enough to find something he's really, the challenge of that precision is really fun for him.
I had no clue what it was going to be going into this program, but it is a lot of fun, and I've always enjoyed working with my hands, and this just gives me a place to do it on a daily basis.
I really am proud of him. I mean, I think he's excited about getting a real job.
One reason I am super excited for this opportunity is the chance to become the third generation in my family to become a worker for Boeing McDonnell Douglas, and also the chance to further my education through Boeing's benefits.
I loved my job. Corporate America had burned me out, but talking to high school kids and looking at their future, I'm excited. Not only for my son, obviously I'm excited for him, but for all the kids that are involved in this. That these are great opportunities to think outside the box, to not automatically think that a four-year university is the only option.
Thank you so much. That was so powerful. So if we have any questions from the audience, please submit them. We would love to have you guys ask Ryan and Mr. Gross questions. If you don't have any, I have a few questions. So Ryan, can you talk a little bit about your advice for young people who are thinking about this? Because we can tell you're excited. It might be scary. You like literally took us through the beginning of the program, what it looks like, what you did. I love that you were showing your grandparents what you created. This is exciting. So what advice do you have for young people who are like on the fence, they're not sure, and you want to give them that final piece of advice that's like, yes, explore this Boeing pre-employment program?
I would say try it out. It's a lot of fun for me, and I'm sure it would be a lot of fun for other people, and it's just a good place to learn new skills and see what you're good at.
I love it. Great. And this question is for Mr. Gross and Ryan. So I'm sure there are like some moments during the program where things might get challenging, or you're learning a new concept that might not be the easiest thing. So how do you persist through those moments? And then Mr. Gross, how did you support Ryan through those moments?
I persisted through those moments of struggle by just keeping my head down and focusing on what I was doing. And I knew with the help of my instructors that I would be able to get it done and do it correctly.
Yeah, Ryan has done a fantastic job of really overcoming. I guess I let me be honest. I don't know that you've really had any struggles. He goes to school, and like I said in the video, he comes home and is excited every night. I don't know that you've had a night where you've come home frustrated and struggling to understand the level of precision. And as a parent, but also as a coach, it's been pretty easy.
I love that. Thank you. That just speaks to the power and the quality of instruction in that program. So I love that. Ryan, I love that you talked about asking your instructors for support. Also, yesterday we had someone who was talking about going to ask for support. So anyone in the audience, if you're considering the Boeing pre-employment program, it clearly has a great network of instructors and support. You'll learn a lot. You'll have a great time. Ryan's story has definitely inspired me. Mr. Gross, I'm glad you were able to join us as well. I can feel your passion through the screen also. So thank you guys. If you are considering the Boeing pre-employment program, you have two strong examples right here of where it inspired people, and it's a great option for Ryan. So I hope this can be a great option for some of our participants. Now we are going to go to our next video. If you guys could just stay on just in case we get any questions from the audience, and at the end, I'll make sure I have a chance to ask those if we get any, but thank you. I appreciate you being here with us. So next we are going to have Mark Majeski and Mr. Westhoff from South County Tech. Mark went through the carpentry program, and we're going to hear a little bit about his journey and his pathway when he graduates.
I'm Mark Majeski. I'm in South Tech right now, part of the carpentry program. In my free time, I do a whole lot of photography and videography, cars more specifically, which is kind of relates back to South Tech in a way because there are automotive programs and it's kind of just working with your hands. I never really enjoyed doing school. I always liked working with my hands. And I heard about this thing where you could go to a different school for half the day and work with your hands and get out of school. I was like, wow, that sounds like a great opportunity. And yeah, so I came to South Tech.
Hi, I'm Matt Westhoff. I'm the carpentry instructor at South Tech High School.
Matt Westhoff, I know because he's my teacher. He's probably one of my favorite teachers at South Tech. I think that's one of the reasons I enjoy the carpentry program so much. He's just such a great teacher.
So I was fortunate enough to have Mark as a junior. He came through the carpentry program. Mark did great with his hands-on. I was excited when he chose carpentry as a senior major.
Well, I knew that I didn't want to do like an office job the rest of my life. And so then coming to South Tech, they gave us all the opportunities. And then carpentry was the one that kind of just fit me best. And carpentry is really rewarding because at the end of the day, you can see what you've done. You actually feel good about it rather than an office job.
As far as Mark goes, what I'm most proud of was his ability to make it through, I guess, the environment of last year. As you can imagine, carpentry class online is not ideal. So he was able to be successful with that. And then when we did return to in-person, his post-secondary goals have been met. When he graduates, he's going to join one of the top general contractor and design firms in St. Louis. So that's Perrick. He'll also become a member of the St. Louis Carpenters Union and go through their joint apprenticeship training program.
So last year we went over just kind of general framing, how to frame windows, doors, all that good stuff. And then this year we go more in depth. We did drywall. We learned how to install the windows, how to install the doors, how to do trim. So basically we go over everything.
So when students come through my program, one of the things I look for to tell if they're going to be able to make it out in the field or if they're really going to cut it when they leave South Tech is one, their work ethic. Do they have what it takes to be on a job site and perform that work? And Mark always seemed to be one of those students who'd keep his head down, get the job done. Even when it wasn't a fun task, he was still out there working on it.
One of the biggest reasons that I'm excited about this opportunity is because you get better pay than most other jobs, and it's kind of a whole community. Everyone works together, everyone helps each other out. No one's really left out.
One thing that really stands out in Mark is his ability to relate with his peers. He does a great job of developing those relationships and including students in that group work when they're doing their projects.
The training for this role, the whole class is based around being in the carpentry field. So we show up early like you would on an actual job site. We dress like we're on a job site. We work like we're on a job site. You don't stand around. Standing around, you'll get made fun of by your friends, and then the teacher will always be on you about it. So yeah, basically, South Tech is a class. It's pretty much preparing you completely for the job.
So to any students out there who are interested in the construction field, don't hesitate to get your feet wet. It's an amazing career. Opportunities are endless. So many different avenues you can go down once you get in the trades. And don't forget that, once you have a skill set, you're going to have that for the rest of your life.
Of course, I had to be on mute for the end. That was great. Thank you, Mr. Westhoff. Thank you, Mark. We'll ask one question and then we'll kind of wrap up. So my question for Mark and Mr. Westhoff, I heard you guys talk about how challenging it was to learn these skills during a pandemic. And I commend both of you for Mr. Westhoff teaching a carpentry class during a pandemic and Mark for persisting through it and still loving the pathway. And so my question, I asked this earlier, and I'm just curious, what do you guys think are ways that young people can explore this career pathway right now? Since a lot of things are still virtual, what is something, if I'm a sophomore in high school and I want to start exploring this career pathway over the summer, what is something I can do in this virtual world that we have right now?
Being at home all the time, you can everything in carpentry is revolved around like building homes and stuff. So you can do stuff around your house. And then one of the things that I'm always doing is being on YouTube. I'll watch carpentry videos for hours on end, just learning little random things.
That's great. I have definitely used YouTube to help me fix things in my home. I will say I am not promoting fixing things in your home using YouTube, but I agree with Mark. It is a good way for you to actually see people working and understanding what the industry looks like. So thank you, Mark. I love that. Mr. Westhoff, what is something that young people can do right now while they're at home to start exploring the field and thinking about if there might be something that they're interested in?
So like Mark said, being at home, you're in your residence, look around, check that stuff out. When you don't know what something is, Google it. It's you have all the knowledge you could ever want at your fingertips. Also with the YouTube videos, fortunately for carpentry, those videos are endless out there, so you can get information there. If you're a sophomore or a junior, also start looking at your options for tech schools that are associated with your home schools. That's a great way to get introduced to the trades.
No, thank you. I'm glad you brought that up because you guys we have South County Tech, we have North County Tech. There are a lot of CTE programs in different school districts where you can explore the carpentry field, where you can explore manufacturing and any of the career pathways we've talked about. So thank you. If you are considering Rankin, I will say St. Louis Public Schools has a program for dual enrollment where you go full-time your senior year. So I would reach out to your counselor about that. If you're interested in any of the pathways we've discussed, definitely reach out to your counselor to ask about ways you can get involved now and take a look at our digital resource, and that will help you as well. You guys were amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. We don't have any more questions from the audience, so I'm just going to have us look at the digital resource so that you can see Rankin's information, and we're going to take a look at the survey. Remember, we have more speakers tomorrow. Also, we will have Adam Lane, who is our City of St. Louis Treasurer. We'll have Steve Bryant, who is the Missouri Career Pathways Director. We will have Michael Woods and Neil Richardson, who are the co-founders of Dream Builders for Equity, and we will have an amazing financial literacy session from Bank of America tomorrow. So we hope you can join us tomorrow. If you are not able to join us tomorrow, go ahead and take the survey today. If you go to the website, pbs.org/level up and scroll down on the right, you will see all the surveys right there. One thing I want to note, when you click on the survey, it'll ask how many sessions you attended. So this was one session. Each career session is one session. Thank you so much, Caroline. Caroline is amazing. She's our behind the scenes guru. And so it'll ask you how many sessions you attended. So if you attended the healthcare session yesterday and the manufacturing session today, that's 2. If you attended, thank you, Caroline, again. So it lists the sessions you attended. So please make sure you take that survey. We want to hear your feedback. We want to make sure that we can learn from what we did this year and use the experiences that you liked and continue those, and also make adjustments that we need to make. So we are glad that you guys came today. Thank you to all of our participants. I learned a lot. I hope everyone learned as much as me. Have a great day, and thank you for joining us.